track starts this coming Monday, the 20th. We want you guys to be there. Meeting this Friday during lunch, both 7th and 8th grade lunch. We'll see you there.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed. Only the names have been changed.
Whoa, what the heck?
Carlos, get off your phone, you're gonna get caught.
I won't get caught.
Yeah, but if you get caught, Mom's gonna have to come and get it from the office.
Oh no, not Mom. Oh, hope nobody's seen me. I'll just put it away.
Only the names have been changed. The story you are about to hear is true.
Okay, Molly, this is called Ask the Principal, so you can ask Mr. Sperry anything that you want.
Okay.
So this is your chance. Do you have a question for Mr. Sperry?
What was your favorite subject in school?
Okay, so the first question is from Molly Williams, and her question to me was, what was my favorite subject in school? Well, believe it or not, although all the teachers are probably going to laugh at me, my favorite subject in school was science. However, recently I have become a giant history buff. Absolutely love history, love to read books. I think I've covered 3 subjects now.
Why can't we wear hats in school?
Why can't we wear hats?
Okay, the second question comes from Mr. Weber and Mr. Dunham. And their questions were specific to why can't you wear hats or hoodies in school, especially inside the school building. We have found in the middle level that it is a giant disruption. Kids stealing hats, throwing them, pulling their hats and hoods over their eyes so the teachers can't make eye contact. We have had more problems with hats and hoodies on than without. So we've just simply said, let's make the rule to not have that, and it has helped us tremendously because remember, kids, everything is about learning.
What question do you have for Mr. Sperry?
Why aren't we allowed to bring binders to lunch?
So the next question is from Miss Pennegill, and I think her question was about binders and why can't we bring them to lunch. If you guys remember, the 8th graders remember that last year we had bought these really nice book stands. And then the kids were throwing their binders in the book stands. They weren't using their lockers at all, made a huge mess. There was theft, there was problems. And then if you look at the morning time, and you'll notice all the backpacks and binders that are stacked around the doorway, it becomes a giant safety concern. So sorry, kids, can't have binders at lunch in the cafeteria.
We're here with
Sable.
Sable. Okay, Sable, what is your question for Mr. Sperry?
Can the students pick what we have for lunch anytime?
The next question was from Sable, and she said, I think her question was, can students pick what they're having for lunch? No, that is picked by the head of the department in food services, and they have guidelines that they must follow for healthy lunches and school lunches. So I would bet that kids might be able to have an influence, but I bet you that if they were to pick, they'd probably have nachos every day.
Can you get more pop machines in the school?
Why can't we get drinks at the vending machines during school?
Next question was from Nico. What's up, Nico? And Amber about pop and vending machines in school. And it's simply a violation of the federal food guidelines. We can't compete with school lunch. The vending machines are on after school hours and they're set that way, so we have to follow the federal guidelines about school lunch. But those are great questions, guys.
This is called Ask the Principal. You can ask Mr. Sperry anything you want. So do you have a question for Mr. Sperry?
Yeah, how do you get so tall?
How do you get so tall?
Next question for Miss Robbins was, how did I get so tall? Boy, I sure haven't heard that before. Drank my coffee. Here's what you guys need to know. Everybody says coffee stunts your growth. Don't think so. Drank plenty of it in my life. Look how tall I am. I have no idea. It's genetics, kids. It's genetics. Mom's tall, dad's tall. My brother is 6'9".
Stop.
What happens if you miss too many days of school?
What happens if we miss too many days of school?
So Cassie asked the question, what happens if you miss too many days of school? The state of Washington is pretty clear on that, and there's district policy, board policy about attendance, and you have to attend school in this state till you're 18 kids, so make sure you have good attendance.
You have a question for him?
Why can't we chew gum? Because I sometimes have stinky breath.
All right, Miss Erringdale, neighbor. She's my neighbor. Anyway, questions about gum. Every single year the kids ask, why can't they chew gum? Have you seen the floor coverings that we have at this school? Carpet, problems. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, we'll be responsible. We'll be responsible, Mr. Sperry. Sure, every year we have this problem. Sorry kids, can't chew gum. Plus, have you heard what it does to the dishwashing machine? They put it on the trays, they run it through. Oh my gosh, don't get me fired up. No gum.
Mr. Sperry's waiting for your question. What is it?
Why don't we have microwaves at the school?
Okay, Miss Ronquito. Microwaves at school. Good question. We used to have microwaves at school. Again, this was a safety concern. There were kids that were boiling their water too hot with their cup of noodles and doing different things like burning popcorn, which is causing all the alarms to go off. And so we had determined that it was just too unsafe to have the microwaves at school. Again, I'm sorry, but good question.
Is it really stressful being principal? Because I cannot be in that place at all.
Is it really stressful being the principal?
A really good question from J.C. Fuller. Very compassionate question. Is it stressful being a principal? The answer to that is yes, but it can be a good type of stress because there's a lot of great things that are happening at Lincoln Middle School, and the kids are at the center of the great things that are happening, so it is stressful, but worth it.
This is called Ask the Principal. You can ask Mr. Sperry anything you want. This is your chance. Do you have a question for Mr. Sperry?
What is the average speed of a northbound swallow?
What is the average speed of a northbound swallow? Okay, I'll get the answer for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Reynolds, I know you tried to stump me with this last question. And to answer your question, that would depend on if that was an African or European descent. I'm assuming you're talking about European descent, and the answer to that would be 11 meters or 24 miles per hour.